So we've looked at the Kao Li Tujing, the Koryo Togyong in Korean pronunciation, the illustrated account of Koryo written by Su Jing, a song envoy in 1123 and presented to the emperor in 1124. There are a number of things that I hope you would take away from this lecture. And that's the fact that the book itself was occasioned by the international relationship between Koryo and Song, Koryo and Jin and Song in the 12th century, which was a very fluid situation in which all kinds of things could happen. And this embassy was an intervention in the situation, an attempt to influence the situation. And there was a very clearly defined mission for the embassy, not just to bring Koryo to the side of the Song, which failed, but also to come back with as much objective information and facts about Koryo that the embassy could find. And in that sense, the embassy was a success. But it looks at Koryo through the lens of Sinocentrism, through the notion that in the end, the only real standards are Chinese standards. And that does mean that if you read the book now, you have to account for this in reading and understanding the book. So it's clear why Su Jing was in Koryo. He was there, part of an embassy, to bring Koryo to the Song side. It's clear what he wrote about. It's a detailed, it's almost like a guide to Koryo. What's the capital like? What are the most important people like? What are its officials like? What is the system, bureaucratic system like? Its military system, etc. What's its geographical location like? And then, having read this, by comparing with other sources, you get a notion of how reliable the book is, which is generally it can be quite reliable, but in some senses it's completely unreliable because the view of the writer was influenced by, which is always the case if you write anything, but in this case more pronounced because of perhaps the existential weight of the mission, because his view was influenced, even distorted at times, by his notion that whatever he brought was more important and more valuable inherently than whatever Koryo could offer. So it's the Hua-Yi dichotomy between cultured Chinese and uncultured barbarians. At the same time, it's a primary source like no other for Koryo. It's an important book, but this, if you interpret it, if you read it, if you use it, you need to know that it's you need to know the context in which it was created. One part of that context is that it stands in a long tradition of Chinese text to transmit important, detailed information to the Song court about different countries. Why did it need this text now? Because Liao had collapsed, the Jin had taken over, and the Jin was about to invade Song. Which happened 2 years later, and the capital, Kaifeng, was conquered by the Song. The text, as I mentioned before, cannot be taken at face value, but it is an important text nonetheless, even though many choices in the text remain problematic, and we don't always understand why and how these choices were made. I mean, it has been 900 years, after all. But again, this text contains some information has not been found anywhere else. What the capital looked like, for example, we don't have those descriptions for the Koryo dynasty, which is mind-boggling because it was around for 500 years, but there you are. And again, and I'll repeat this one more time because it's so important, this is a very valuable text, but in order to properly use it, you need to contextualize it properly also, and understand the context of the writer and the context of the political situation in which it was written. And with this, I'll end this conclusion.